So hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Terry. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys and gals are all doing well, and I hope you all like the new camera angle, trying something different on for size. So let's just go over the spec sheet here. Okay, this new camera we're talking about today, it can do full resolution, blackout free 14-bit raw burst at up to 120 frames per second with around a 1.6 second buffer for around 180 shots. Oh, and by the way, it can do that with, AI autofocus fully intact the whole time you're doing it for real-time tracking, so that's incredible. Let's see here, 24.6 megapixel stack sensor, which is always pretty cool. But the biggest trick though that Sony has up its sleeve for its brand new A9 III is that it is the very first full-frame camera on the market to have a global shutter. Let's talk about that. So why is a global shutter in the photography world a big deal? Well, think of it like this here, okay? And by the way, I'm going to show you guys a little animation here from a website called lensrentals.com. You see, on a normal camera, whenever you press that shutter button and you go to release that shutter to take a photo or whatever it might be, the sensor is actually reading everything out row by row. And yes, it might happen in a fraction of a second, but that still takes time. And that's called sensor readout, okay? But whenever you're doing a sporting event or taking some kind of fast moving footage of any kind, you might notice that whenever you look back at it, like if you're taking a photo of a baseball player swinging their bat to hit a ball, the bat itself might look curved. Or if you're taking a video and you're panning the camera around kind of fast like this here, you might notice that straight lines get kind of warped and the edges might look a little wobbly. Well, that's because of the rolling shutter, that sensor readout, but the cool thing, though, about a global shutter, though, and if you can hear a weed whacker, I do apologize, okay? I got some people here doing some lawn care, but the cool thing about a global shutter, though, y'all, is that as soon as you hit that shutter button to take the photo or start the video, whatever it might be, the entire sensor is read out at that moment. Everything is exposed at the exact same time. There isn't a row by row, line by line, if you were to call it that, delivery of information to the sensor. It exposes everything at one time. So that's really cool. So you're not going to see that kind of banding. You're not going to see that kind of warping. You're not even going to see that kind of light flicker you would normally see if you're filming against fluorescent lights or something. And this is also a big deal for flash photographers as well, because they go on to say right here in this article from Engadget that even if you crank up that shutter speed on the camera all the way up to 1/80,000th of a second, that is like, you would probably never in your entire life shoot that high, but because of the global shutter, you can literally hook this thing up to any type of flash system that you would like, even at that high of a shutter speed, and it'll just work. Like, you don't even got to worry about it. It's so cool. And the cool part is, okay, take that there with a grain of salt, okay? I mean, cool as in, it's still a $6,000 camera, but in my opinion, though, okay, folks, in my opinion, I think for the right person, and like, this is the kind of camera that if you need it, you need it and you already have it pre-purchased, you know what I mean? But there are a lot of people that I know that shoot Nikon, that shoot Canon, that as soon as this was announced, they like instantly listed their stuff on eBay. Like that's how hyped they are for a system like this. Like this is insane, y'all. And yeah, you might say this camera is $6,000, but think of it this way here, right? This is the very first full frame camera that Sony's ever put out that has a global shutter. As a matter of fact, it's the first full frame camera that has that in the entire world. So the fact that Sony's doing this now will incentivize other camera manufacturers to follow in their footsteps. And on top of that, the more that this tech gets advanced, the more that they get better at doing it, they can make it cheaper and cheaper, and then they can implement this kind of thing in their lower end cameras, if that makes sense too, So if you ask me, I think it's a win for everybody. But hey, I want to pass the question on to y'all out there in the land of YouTube. What do you think? Is this awesome? Are you going to pick one up, or are you going to just see what this does in the real world before you spend your money? Do me a favor, everybody. Sign up in the comments below, and I will catch you guys and gals next time.